Hey everyone, Todd here along with Ronnie Heelan, and tonight we're talking with Tyra Clark from Arkansas's X-Files. So dig this. She has a lot of things going on and lots of good things coming up. So also, we got a little special guest here, and this is somebody whose birthday is today and also paranormal investigator. All that coming up and much more. All right, stay with us.
Let's do this, yeah.
All right. So joining us is Tyra Clark. How you doing, Tyra?
I'm doing good.
All right. Well,
thank you for asking.
Well, what have you been up to?
Well, currently, I haven't done a whole lot of investigating. It's just been so hot here in Arkansas. I don't know about everywhere, but it's been really hot. But I do have a couple places coming up, so that we're definitely going to get into.
Okay. All right. Good. Yeah, it's been hot here too. We are dying of heat. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, tell us what you have going on. Get us up to date here, up to speed.
Sure. Okay. So, you want to know a little bit about myself and Arkansas X-Files, and then I'll tell you maybe what I got coming up, or which way do you want to go about it?
That sounds good.
Absolutely. However you want to do it.
Okay. So I am Tyra Clark. I'm lead investigator of Arkansas X-Files, founded by myself in October of 2020. Okay. So we're fairly a new team, in the paranormal field, but, boy, since we've gotten started, it's been like a roller coaster. We've gotten so many opportunities. I feel very blessed, but, in a nutshell, I'd actually started, as an investigator in February of 2022. On Facebook, they had an advertisement for a haunted house, a real haunted house in Arkansas, in Little Rock, Arkansas, that you could go to and do a 2-hour paranormal investigation. And I was so intrigued by that. So I've always been fascinated by the paranormal. I've had so many experiences since I was a child. I was one of those people who literally everybody that knows me, I would be watching the Travel Channel just about all day, every day when I could, just trying to, I guess, see, other people's experiences and if any of their experiences were like mine, And so when I got this opportunity where, I could actually go and do this, I guess I kind of did it on my own time before I actually, created Arkansas X-Files. A little bit, not really knowing a whole lot, but I was super excited. So I went to this event. It was called Haunted Hearts at the Fee House in Little Rock. And I didn't have any equipment. I didn't have anything. And they gave us a tour. And then he said, well, you guys can, if you don't have any equipment, maybe download like a voice recorder app on your phone. So I kind of teamed up with a gentleman that was there. And we walked around the house, and I felt like it just kind of came naturally to me, asking the different questions. And then the next day, he sent those files over to me. So I'm sitting there, and I'm reviewing them, listening to them, and I captured my first EVP. And that was it. Like I was hooked after that. And it didn't scare me. And EVPs are probably some of my most captured evidence that I have collected personally. But I tried to work with some other people, joining up on a team, and just didn't, people have busy lives, and it just didn't work out so well. So, I said, why not? So that's when I created Arkansas X-Files. And the name kind of has something to do with, obviously X-Files. I'm a X-Files baby child.
So the X-Files, you like pretty much everything. You like UFOs, Bigfoot.
Yes.
Okay.
And that was the other reasoning behind that. Because I wanted something that would be catchy, like, that everybody could relate to. And the X-Files, like growing, when I was a child, I mean, my sister and I remember when X-Files would come on, we cut the lights out, and me and my sister would jump in mom's bed, and we'd all watch X-Files together. But the thing about X-Files was it wasn't just one particular thing. It was so many things. So it could have been spirits, it could have been cryptids, it could have been anything. And that's why Arkansas X-Files, because we not only investigate haunted locations, places, haunted things, spirits, but we also believe in cryptids, Bigfoot, any of the cryptids, also UFOs, aliens, extraterrestrials, however you want to put it. And so it didn't just stop at, okay, I'm experiencing things, I think my house is haunted. I seen Bigfoot, and I want, somebody who could maybe help me out with this, or I think I seen this flying saucer. I'm not sure, this light in the sky. So we wanted to be able to not just cover the spirits, the hauntings, but we wanted to be able to help people with any kind of paranormal. I call it the paranormal umbrella.
Yes.
So yeah, so
That's
that's kind of where I went with that.
Yeah, awesome. So you was talking about you had put an app on your phone, and you had somebody analyze your audio. Yeah,
well, they just recorded, and I asked questions. It was just basically like a voice recorder app. So I'm just recording. We were recording. He was holding that, and then we walk around. I would ask different questions that came to mind, and then when, like I said, he sent those files over to me the next day. It was actually, I guess, on his phone, but he sent those files to me the next day, and then I reviewed them, and I listened to them for the first time the next day, and that's when I captured the EVP.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, what is the what's the most haunted place that you've been at?
Okay. So I have actually, in the couple years that we've been about, I've been to so many places. So I'm very blessed to say that, because, and even outside of my state of Arkansas, I've been to Texas, I've been to Louisiana to investigate. All of these places have really, really, here in Arkansas, we have the Crescent Hotel. That's one of my favorite ones here in Arkansas that we have actually investigated at. But the scariest place would have to have been, this is not my most favorite place. This is a tricky question, because, this can go several ways. I guess the scariest place for me would have to have been the Old Park Hotel in Ballinger, Texas.
Oh, nice. So what's the story on that? Do you know?
What made that special?
Yeah, I do. So I went in the first time kind of blindly. I didn't want to know. I wanted to see what I picked up on, during my walkthrough. And that was actually very interesting, because I feel like, first of all, that everybody has abilities to kind of fine tune and pay attention to these signs around us. But the gentleman that owned the Old Park Hotel was like, okay, well, I won't tell you anything. He's like, I tell you what, let's just walk through. You whatever you feel, you start telling me. And so I started picking up on this. We went into this one particular room, and I felt very sad. Like somebody was hurting me. And anyway, so he was just like, wow, he was kind of confirming what I was feeling. And I would actually go in the room and close my eyes, and just whatever visions came to my mind, I guess my third eye, I would just kind of say that. And anyway, the story behind the Old Park Hotel, it was cowboy lodging, and also it was a brothel. Okay, so with the two, that was a interesting mix of things to be happening there. The brothel part of it was, I guess, probably where a lot of this activity that they experience today has come from. But they do have a spirit, an apparition that's seen commonly there. He looks like a cowboy, and he's actually heard upstairs. You can hear him walking around, and I can confirm this because when I got there was only 3 of us, and we were downstairs. We were actually at the bottom of the staircase, and before we even went upstairs, you could hear the click, click, click from the cowboy boots.
Dang,
so that was interesting. Yeah.
That would get me so excited.
Yeah. So I actually, and during my walkthrough, I got called a not so great name that I did not appreciate. And so I told the spirits about that later, but that was just during my initial walkthrough. Also, I made communication with the madam. I guess she would have been over the ladies at the brothel. Yeah, and
Yeah.
she, the story behind that is said to have that one of the ladies had fallen for one of the gentlemen that came to the brothel.
Yeah.
She even got pregnant by him. Okay, and because he was so like a dominant, predominant male, in the community, it was trying to be hidden. Okay, and so it was said that the madam had the lady and her child actually killed.
Oh my God.
And so this is hearsay. So, as investigators, we got to find out. So I started asking her questions. And one thing I do not like to do is provoke. I'm not Zach Biggins. Okay.
Right? Who is besides Zach?
Put that out there. Sorry, Zach. But no, I always try to be very respectful when I'm investigating. I just treat them like it's another person. Okay. But this particular one, I felt a little edgy with her. Like I was trying to get some stuff out of her. So I guess you could say provoked her a little bit. I was like, okay, so, so who's in charge now if you're not in charge? Something of that nature, okay? And she basically came through and asked me, did I want to trade places?
Whoa.
Yeah. Another creepy thing. So you guys know Slappy from Goosebumps, yeah?
Yeah. I was slappy for Halloween one year.
Yeah. So the doll, he's very popular, and and something about all these different locations that have creepy dolls, which most of them do. He's always there. He's always there, and I feel like he's following me around. Okay, because at the old Park Hotel, they have a doll room, and the doll Slappy was there. He was sitting in a rocking chair, and I called him. I wasn't realizing it, but I was calling him Sloppy. Okay, I was not doing it intentionally. But I do not think that he liked that, okay? Because he was sitting in the rocking chair with his legs crossed and his feet pointed forwards. And then we stayed up till about 5 o'clock in the morning, just myself and another investigator. And then we went and laid down all night. I kept waking up. I felt like every hour on the hour, my eyes would just pop wide open. And I would look around and I wouldn't see anything. Yes, we're actually on it. So give me just 1 minute. Anyway, I would look around and I wouldn't see anything. And I said, Tyra, I'd give myself a pep talk. Just go back to sleep. It's fine. Well, the next day we were going down the hall and we went to that toy room. And now Slappy he's leaning over. His legs are still crossed, but his feet are contorted backwards. So, long story short, I feel like he's the one who was creeping on me in the middle of the night.
Oh, wow.
You can't trust that Slappy.
No, you can't. That's for sure. So, we had some other really weird experiences there. I mean, it was so many. It was one of the most active places that I've ever been to. And just as far as like creepy and I don't typically get scared at haunted locations. But something didn't feel right at that one. So that one was probably the scariest for me personally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was scared me too, especially the madam and wanting to trade places.
Yeah.
Like, that's creepy.
Especially if it was a male in there and she was like, let's trade places.
Yeah.
Be like, forget it.
Don't threaten me
I'm
one
out
time, lady.
Yeah. So but yeah, and they actually have really, really tall ceiling. And on the walls at the top by the ceiling, they had little handprints. I mean, I don't know that, maybe they had a really tall ladder and they let a little kid, do that across the ceiling, but that showed up. I think the owner said like a week before we got there. So
wait. What was it?
They were little, looked like children handprints. So the walls were about, I'm not good with the measurements. I want to say at least 10 foot or taller.
Okay.
And at the very top of them by the ceiling, there was little handprints going all the way across.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I had found also during my investigation, there was a door leaned against the wall in one of the rooms, and there was a handprint And I had to sit there. I was like, the investigator that was with me, I said, hey, you got to check this out. Just record me. So it literally had to stand with my back to it because, maybe somebody was in there and put their hand on there, but you would have to like oddly contort your hand to even be able to make that handprint. And it would have been uncomfortable. And it was just one handprint. So I couldn't figure out why somebody would do that, and the owner always does a walkthrough before any, after an investigation. Any new investigators come in, he always does a walkthrough to make sure that nothing's, went wrong or changed or, and so he makes notes of things. So that was crazy.
Yeah.
We captured on the SLS camera a little, it looked like a child spirit that was next to me in the toy room. And I communicated with it. I went to, I asked, would it be okay if I, kneel down and had, talk to him so I'd be on its level. And it was sitting there and I was asking it questions. And then the other investigator said, put your hand out. And as soon as I put my hand out, it disappeared. So that was crazy. Yeah.
Now the place that you was just talking about, it's in Texas, right?
Yes.
And how old is it?
Oh, it was in the early 1800s.
Okay.
When it was first cowboy lodging, and then it became the brothel.
Okay.
And then the hotel afterwards.
All right.
Yeah, wonder where the child spirits came from. Had to be the hotel.
Yeah. The hotel, I'm sure, or it could have been. Well, like I said, the legend or story that supposedly about the lady at the brothel that got killed and her child.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
So the story goes that she was actually allowed to have the child, and
she did, and she kept the child there supposedly, and then the madam, the gentleman that she had the child with was like, I can't let anybody know this, and so they had supposedly worked a deal with the madam. He did for them to be taken out, basically.
That's terrible.
Yeah. Texas is Arkansas, we have a lot of, but Texas and Mineral Wells, the Haunted Hill House is another really crazy one too.
Did you go there to the Haunted Hill?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Ooh.
I have been there.
Tell us about that.
Yeah. So they have one of their main entities there is supposed to be Toby. His name's Toby. And he's supposed to be like a demonic spirit there. So that was the first place that I went to, because I went to this field as a Christian. And I know lots of people have, lots of different views and stuff, but, that's what I went into it with that mentality. And so this was the first location that I knew had known demonic activity in it. And it made me a little nervous, going into it. But, I got there and I didn't get to investigate very long. It was actually a book signing that I was there for, but I did get to investigate just a little bit. But they were doing like legal booze and stuff like that. And I think it might have been like a brothel, so type of thing, like a smaller one. But there was this gentleman had got his niece pregnant and they had a child and the child was deformed and they kept him in this one room, for a while, but he ended up, I think, being hung outside on the property.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So there's been all kinds of, they have underground tunnels. They have there's a hotel across the road that they used to do illegal gambling and, selling, booze and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't known to be a very good place, but yeah, it's got a lot of activity too. People have been scratched, pushed. They have documented, because they have cameras all throughout Haunted Hill House. And so when people come, they can actually document what is happening to them when they're there.
Oh, well, that's
cool. And I like that. And you can review that too as an investigator.
Oh, well, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Now, you was talking about a doll room. Do you have haunted dolls?
I do.
Oh, do you?
Yes, I do. I was actually I want to say skeptical about the doll, like haunted objects and could things be haunted. And I was on Facebook Marketplace, and I seen this lady was supposedly selling these haunted dolls. And each doll had its own set of activity that come along with the doll. And so I was interested in this female doll, which was, her name was Mackenzie. And I got to reading a little bit more about Mackenzie and the things that supposedly came along with Mackenzie. And it said she gets along well with other spirit dolls. And there was another doll there, and his name was Landon. And same thing with Landon. He gets along well with other spirit dolls. Well, come to find out, those two dolls came from the same place. An investigator of 25 years that lived next to a cemetery. And he felt like something had attached from the cemetery to these dolls. And so I was like, well, I can't just get one. So I got both of them, you know?
So,
that's creepy.
Yeah. So I got, yes, I do have them.
So what do you keep them?
This is funny that you ask, because I actually keep them in my room. I didn't used to. I had a little building behind my house.
Are you married?
That I kept them in out there. No, I'm not married.
I was going to say, how does your husband feel about that? But yeah,
right. No, I'm not married, but I'm actually out of town right now, and my daughter stayed in my room last night. She called me at 3:00 in the morning. She said, "Mom, I hear scratching, and it sounds like it's coming from your dolls." So,
oh my goodness.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I do sleep on the couch.
Yeah, they do produce different types of activity. But I feel like at this point, when I first got them, of course, the very first night that I got them, I had them out in my building behind the house, and it was a pretty nice day. And I did not know it was going to storm or anything at all. So I'd left the windows open in my building, and then I was asleep in the house. About 1:00 in the morning, thunder, lightning, and here comes the rain just pouring down. And I remember sitting up and thinking, oh no, my dolls are out there and I've left the windows open, So I was like, all right, Tyra, go out there and shut the windows. I could not bring myself to do it until daylight, because it was just, what's the odds of that? It was this crazy storm that came through. I didn't know anything about a storm coming. And then, so I'm a soldier too. I'm a veteran, and sometimes I'm like, come on, you just suck it up, but I couldn't bring myself to do that. I had to wait till daylight. But one of the creepiest things, the first things that they did, I actually have a millimeter. And if you're familiar with the millimeter, it will take EMF readings, okay, digital readings. And so you see on TV all the time, you'll see they get like a 4.0 or 7.8, something of that nature, and they're getting all excited. Mackenzie and Landon my millimeter went off to 100, and it's documented on Arkansas X Files. I took a picture, 104 or something, point something. Dang. Okay, so they skyrocketed that.
Yes, they did.
Yes, they did.
Lots of energy coming from them dolls.
That's right. And when I first got them, my son and his girlfriend had come over. They said, hey, Mom, we want to go out there and see the dolls and meet them. I said, okay, let's go, So I took them out there. And the funny thing is, the doll, Landon, the boy doll, he's got this real kind of like dirty blonde hair and really beautiful blue eyes. And so does my son. And so I said, look, Ethan, you and Landon could be brothers. Well, later on that day, I went out there and I was doing an EVP session, and I had an EVP come through and said, I'm not your kid.
Whoa. Okay.
And so this is the thing that I try to, when I'm investigating with other people, I know, and everybody that hears that first off, even myself, I was like, ooh, that sounds a little scary, right?
Right.
I was like, what does that mean? But then when I thought about it, earlier that day, I had compared him to my son. And I was like, maybe that's what he's saying. Like, I'm not your kid, you know?
I'm not your kid.
And that's how
Stop
I think as an investigator.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I did. So I went out there, and you know what? People call me crazy. It's fine. I had a talk with my dolls, and I told them, look, I'm not trying to be your mom. I'm not trying to keep you here attached to any vessel, anything. I'm just merely a caretaker to make sure that you're safe and that you're taken care of. And ever since then, I think they've been okay with me until I brought them in the house.
Yeah. Now they want to scare your kid while you're out of town.
Apparently. I mean, we have several people that live in our house, and even here recently, we've had a lot of, I haven't personally myself, but other family members have seen things, like a little girl. And so that's interesting.
Yeah.
And I might have to end up moving them, or they're actually in a case now. Or I believe in doing cleansings and blessings and whatnot. And I think that sometimes you might even have to do additional ones. So it's been a while since I've done that. So, I'm thinking that's probably what I need to do.
Yeah, you have to do that kind of on a regular basis, really.
Right. Yeah.
So what you got coming up in the future here? Any fun activities, events?
So there's this place in Arkansas, and it's the Arkansas Tuberculosis Hospital. It is in Boonville, Arkansas. Now, it's been around for a long time, but it's abandoned now. But they just now started letting investigators go in there and actually investigate. Very interesting enough, it has tunnels below it, and it also has an active mental institution on the property.
Oh, wow.
So that's a big one. I'm going to try to get together, a group so we can go in, because I think we'll have it from like 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. in the morning.
Definitely go in the tunnels. Do it.
I know.
Do it.
And there's another place, and I should have wrote this down. It's in Arkansas. It's called the Beard and Lady Inn. And this, I found out, is they advertise it as a haunted bed and breakfast, but it was once a brothel. And it was actually a very high-class brothel, back in its time.
Oh, for like presidents and whatnot.
Right? Well, they had a strip of the brothels, and this particular brothel, where the other brothels only charged $1 a night per lady, this one charged $3 per night for the ladies.
Ooh, high dollar.
High dollar
right there.
Yeah. So they were not allowed to come downstairs unless they were fully decked out. I don't know as far as any happenings when the brothel. What did happen was, that was strange, was there was a huge fire that came through, and literally every brothel around them burnt up. And when it got to that brothel, the wind shifted and it did not catch on fire.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Yes.
Or suspicious.
Or suspicious, right?
Yeah.
And then, they were making all the money then. They probably charged $4 or $5.
$5 to make you holler.
Yeah. And so then I know after that, it became a bed and breakfast, and there was a gentleman. So there's been all kinds of experiences by people that have stayed there, hearing footsteps, feeling the presence, a male presence there. There was, on the 3rd floor of this place, there was a gentleman that had passed away on the balcony. It was during the winter season, and I don't know if he was an alcoholic and he just fell asleep out there and hypothermia, whatever, but he passed away. And so he's a commonly spotted apparition at this place.
Cool.
Yeah. And I don't know if you guys got it, because I kind of sent that right before the show, but I'd sent you a copy of the AY magazine that we were featured in, Arkansas X-Files, last October. So that's one of the biggest magazines here in Arkansas. And they wrote up, and we had 4 pages in the AY magazine, but they actually had one of the editors that was the journalist that had contacted me. This is after that. It was not too long ago. And she's wanting to do an investigation with us. And I said, absolutely.
Cool. Yeah, that'd be fun.
So I was thinking, the Beard and Lady, the bed and breakfast, the haunted bed and breakfast would be really good for them to go with us.
Yeah.
Because we could actually stay the night, have our own spot. And then it's advertised as a haunted location, so I'm sure they would be okay with us investigating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. Heck yeah. And so, aren't we supposed to be talking to a young one? Aren't we doing a...
Yeah.
Aren't we going to be talking to your son, or...
No, well, he's not my son. This isn't... Well, hold on. He's not my son. He's my friend's son.
Okay.
And, yeah.
Well, tell us a little bit, like what got him into this?
Yeah, so he's actually, guys, he's a young one. He's a younger one. I've had several kids, teenagers investigate with me. I used to lead tours at the Fee House. But I met Remington is his name, Remington. We call him Remy.
Remy.
Yeah, he turned 7 today, guys. So he's one of my younger ones.
Oh, wow, happy birthday.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So
I got a Nintendo for my birthday.
Ooh,
Awesome.
And I
That's
got
awesome.
Fortnite.
Woo-hoo, yay.
Did he say with Fortnite?
Yep, Fortnite.
I was just playing Fortnite. Sadly, I had the battle pass, but now I'm a default.
it's okay. It's okay. He's good. So yeah, actually, I met them through one of my residential cases, and his mother and I became friends. And they actually live in, I don't know if you guys have ever heard this. This is one of the most known paranormal spots in Arkansas, but in Gurdon, Arkansas, the Gurdon Lights.
Okay, yeah, I heard of it.
Okay. So yeah.
I've investigated the Gordon Lights.
Oh, wow.
Did you have a good time?
I saw a scary sign.
Ooh. What
The guy got killed.
Oh,
The guy got killed by a guy.
Yeah.
And the guy got electrocuted for his crime.
Yeah, he did. That's what was on the sign.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So yeah, that was interesting. Yeah, so we kind of talked about some things that maybe you guys would want to know.
Okay.
Before we got on here, because he said he was a little nervous, but I think he's got this.
Oh, yeah. You got
okay.
this, Remy. You're a big boy today.
I get nervous, too.
That's why he has me here.
I thought I was going to be on camera, and I'm camera shy.
Oh, no. We don't like to be on camera.
Yeah, we're camera shy, too.
Yeah.
So we thought of a couple of things that I could ask him and he could answer for you guys.
Okay.
All right, yeah, go ahead.
So Remy, if you could investigate anywhere, where would you investigate?
Dracula's castle in Pennsylvania.
Transylvania.
I want to go there, too.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Do you like vampires, Remy?
No.
No? Okay.
Just the castle.
Just the castle.
Just the castle.
Okay.
Yeah. So, so what is one of your favorite pieces of paranormal equipment that I've shown you that you got to use?
Spirit box.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. We like the spirit box, too.
Yeah, it's fun.
And as a junior investigator, what is one thing that I taught you to safely investigate? What do you do?
To not be scared.
Okay. And if we're doing an EVP session, what should we do?
Talk to the spirits.
Ask them questions. Yeah, and then give them time. You give them time to respond?
Then we give them time to respond.
That's right.
Awesome.
And we be respectful.
Yes.
Yes.
Respectful.
Very respectful, yes.
And before we leave an investigation, what do? We let them know.
Don't come to our house. Don't attach to us. You're not welcome.
Exactly.
Right.
You
Yeah.
gotta say goodbye.
Yeah.
Because if they say they're a good spirit, they might be tricking us.
Yes.
But we have a good spirit here. And its name is Sarah. Sarah Clark. Are we related to the Clark?
So this is one of our, like I said, our youngest investigators, and he's done really awesome. We did investigate the Gurdon Lights, and that was really, we didn't actually see the light because we went during the day, but we did have something very interesting that came out of the spirit box why did we leave? Do you remember why we left?
Because it's a weird thing.
What did it say? Run. It told us to run.
Oh, yeah.
2
I
times.
would've ran.
Not once, but 2 times.
Yeah, it's time to go.
Yeah. So. Okay, well, I think he's about done.
Thank you,
wanna say
Remy.
Thank you?
Tell us more about You're
Thank
more than
you.
welcome, and happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday. Enjoy your game.
Yeah.
Now tell us a little more about the lights for people that listen and they don't know what that is.
Okay, so the Garden Lights, this was actually on Arkansas X-Files list before, our residential case had reached out to us. Because I actually live in central Arkansas, so it's about almost 2 hours away from where I live. But it is very well known around. It's the Garden Lights has dated back to the 1930s, and the story behind it is there was a railroad worker, okay, and his boss, his foreman, had got into an argument, and the railroad worker had grabbed what they called a maul, and he hit his foreman in the head 4 times. And the foreman passed away.
Wow.
So this is supposedly this light, this phenomenon, which has gone on since the 1930s, the early 1930s. This light has been seen. So where you can go here in Gurdon, they have a couple different spots. I think the main spot is where most people that come to see the lights, they go. They actually have like a little parking area. They have a sign, the sign that Remy was telling you about, that's got a little bit of the information. And then it's got this, I guess, a trail that goes through the woods where the railroad tracks used to be, but they're no longer. And so people, since the early 1930s, right after that happened, that incident, they have seen this ball of light. And it can be different colors. It can be a bright light, a green light. It can come right up to you. They tried to debunk it for, swamp gas. That was debunked because it happens even on windy days. They said they tried to say it was the interstate lights from the interstate, which is a common reason to see like a light apparition thing. And this was before the interstate came through there. So that was debunked as well. So it was actually on featured on Mysteries at the Museum, a couple of different shows about the Garden Lights. And so it's just a phenomenon, and nobody can figure out where this light source is coming from.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's definitely interesting.
Yeah, I'm going to look into that.
Yeah. Now, about this this young investigator here.
Yes.
And I just want to clarify this because it's such a mixed bag when it comes to kids and paranormal investigations. I think that it's a great thing. It teaches that not everything is evil and demonic.
Right. That's right.
And that's one of the biggest things. And I know religion plays a huge part in this, but it doesn't have to be that way. But people make it that way.
Right.
So what do you think moving forward? Do you think there's going to be more and more kids that get with their parents, and their parents are their mentors, and they go out and they do their investigations and learn the right techniques and things like that?
Yes, I actually I do. I'm very big about this too because, like I mentioned before, I started doing tours at the Fee House, and I would have people come in and go through my tours, and I would tell them the history, and then they would actually get to investigate with me using my equipment. Now, I've had all types of people come through, and children, and that's when, and they would ask, what do you think about this? Well, as long as they're okay with it, they're curious. So let me help you teach them the safe way to investigate.
Exactly.
And so that they can feel safer in these situations and not think that everything's demonic or, evil.
Yeah.
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 Or that they're crazy. That was a good point my friend just made. Because, when I told you guys I've been experiencing things since I was a child, and in my early teens, really terrifying things. And back then, so I'm about to be 40 next month, but when I was younger, the paranormal in general, and especially living in Arkansas in the Bible Belt, it was something that, you didn't talk about.
Exactly.
So it's like a taboo, you know, but now I am so grateful that, we have all these shows on TV and stuff, although some of them are a little out there,
Yes,
but
they are.
at least it's people are being able to tell their stories. People are being more acceptable of what's happening in the paranormal realm. And so, it's, where before I said, my name is Tyra Clark and I'm a paranormal investigator, people might have looked at me crazy, but it's really not like that nowadays.
Nope.
And so, yeah.
I didn't have much problem even back in the day. I've been doing this 25 years and it's I think that
maybe it's different in the South because, I got a lot of what she got. I thought I was crazy and thought I was going to go to hell and no, you're not seeing this.
That's possible. I mean, I don't know. I don't, I guess it's different everywhere, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, and you got to think too about the children, going back to the children, just so as an investigator, I'm sure you realize that there's certain things that trigger spirit activity, and children are one of them. Just like animals.
Right.
Okay, dogs, cats. They can sense these things because the children, they haven't gone through, all this adult craziness. And,
yes, it hasn't been beat out of them. They haven't been desensitized.
There you go. And so they're more susceptible to these energies. And so with that being said, how can we teach them when they're younger to go about this in a safe way? Not like, I'm going to beat you up. We kind of had that in the beginning of it, you're bad, and so I'm like, well, no, listen, and just kind of talk to them like, we want to talk to the spirits just like you're talking to me, you want to be respectful.
Exactly.
So not provoking them and, just letting them know, hey, we acknowledge that you're here. And do you have anything that you would like to communicate to us? And every child that's ever investigated with me and up into teenagers, I mean, you would think that they would get freaked out or even make like a game or something, but they're actually really into it. I love the fact that they're even more serious about it than some of the adults that I've had come through my tours and investigated with me.
I've seen that too. Yep.
Well, right. I mean, as long as you're going at it, not like a not like a para TV show, where everything's got to happen like right now. That
right,
everything
where they're
happens.
Expected.
Right, and as kids, we know the kids get impatient, and I used to as well. When you sit at a place, you don't always get EVPs or Mel meters going off or K2s going off. Sometimes it completely is dead. Mm-hmm. You might not get anything. So it's with kids, it's a little bit, I don't know. They would probably be perfect with trigger items, like lights and things like that, because they are young and uninfluenced, and the spirits are going to use their energy to manipulate the items. So that's definitely a good thing too.
But that's, and teaching them how to use the equipment. And I'm not real big, I told you in the beginning when I didn't have any equipment and we downloaded the voice recorder app, but I, as an investigator, am not real big about, these apps that they have for ghost hunting or what have you. I don't like to say ghost hunting either. That just sounds weird to me. So that's why I say I'm a paranormal investigator. But,
right. I think any seasoned paranormal investigator is going to say paranormal investigator.
Not ghost hunter. We're not the Ghostbusters.
Right. But we found some apps, a couple different apps that were actually created by paranormal investigators that I have a couple on my phone and they use with me. And, and I teach them things like cleansing. Afterwards, like he said, we're going to let them know that, they're not allowed to attach to us. They're not allowed to go home with us. Okay. So we do that. And then I even have sage and stuff like that. So if it's, as long as it's okay with the parents, we'll do a little sage ourselves before we go. But yeah, I mean, it's for me, like I said, to be able to teach somebody who is younger, proper ways, I feel like, to go about investigating to where they won't be so scared. Like I teach even my clients through the residential cases, we're stronger as living people than anything that can come at us. And even if you want to take it to that worst level, the demonic, you're stronger than anything that can come at you. And you have to put your intentions out there, and you have to let them know that they are not allowed to hurt you and they're not allowed to attach to you and all these things. And and even just that thought like gives them that courage to be able to accept, what's going on and not be so frightened about it.
Exactly.
Well, but what about attachments though? I mean, how do you tell a child about something attaching to them? I mean, if you're a child, I mean, because you're going to be they're not really going to be scared, but then all of a sudden you say an attachment, and they're going to be like, "What?
Yeah,
what is that?"
I think, even Remy being probably the youngest one, I think he realizes that means sticking along with you and going where you go.
Okay.
He never. It's like he automatically knew, but he's a smart guy. He really is.
He sounds like a smart guy.
And that actually makes sense. So
yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, and plus, if it starts when they're younger, if we can actually get that out there and let people know, there's safe routes to go about this. If your child's experiencing things, then one of the biggest things about my residential cases, we do it pro bono. We don't charge, but I'm really big to go to first if any of the locations have children. Because like I said, those children can actually be like a beacon of light to the spirits. They can attract the spirits, more. And I don't want them to think they're crazy and know that these things are happening. And you know what? You have somebody that believes you.
Yes.
And that is most important.
I think it's important because, I grew up having all these experiences and seeing ghosts, and I thought I was crazy, I mean, literally, I grew up in Southern Baptist church, and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to go to hell. What's going on? Why am I seeing this? Why does it keep happening? I thought I was crazy.
Yeah.
So I had no one to go to and talk to. I was scared. So that would have been great if I could have grown up in that kind of environment. So
knowing they have that safe place, and for the future generations to come, knowing that, okay, this is what's happening to me, and learning to work with the equipment, the scientific equipment, the paranormal equipment that we have, and understanding how that works and validating what they're experiencing is that's like the main thing. Because then that gives them that boost of confidence that they need to be able to overcome whatever might be coming at them spiritually.
Right. And it's important to teach them correctly because there's a lot of people out there that really don't know how they work. It's like, hey, just turn on this K2 meter, and as soon as it lights up, there's a ghost. Well, that's not exactly what it is. But that's what a lot of people, I see this as a good thing and also a bad thing, because then I have a feeling you're going to start seeing, like you are now, you're going to see a lot of fakes, a lot of fake evidence, and you're going to be like, well, this kid says that there's a spirit right there, so there must be a spirit there. You know what I mean? I see it as a good thing and a bad thing, just like how it is now.
Yeah.
It's going to be more controversial, I think.
I understand. I see what you're saying with that. But as far as like I said, I feel like the younger they can start, where they actually can understand what we're saying to them, okay, and comprehend that and then act that out. That's the more, and somebody who's teaching them, like you said, the proper way to go about it. I mean, and then they have that experience. They have that pre-experience before, they even are adults. And, like me, I didn't start doing this until actually investigating until a couple of years ago. I mean, I feel like my experience is well beyond my years, but I mean, for them to be able to start earlier and learn that and do it the correct way, like they can change that to where the stuff that we see on TV right now, that's so crazy and how they go about stuff. And maybe they can actually end up giving us some better evidence and who knows? I mean, in the paranormal realm, I mean, we've got so much stuff and evidence captured at this point that by the time they're adults, I mean, who knows, where it's going to go from there.
Well, yeah, because you brought up you don't want them to think that they're crazy or, because they're seeing something, but we still have in our society, we still have people that don't talk about mental illness because it's a stigmata. The same with the religious aspects of ghosts. That ghosts are all demonic, and you have all these other things that play into that. So, yes, I mean, if they're taught correctly, if they are, if they're there's so many factors. I mean, clearly, I think that it's great. I really do. I think that more people need to be more open-minded. Let's put it that way.
Yes, there we go.
Because there's not,
and I think it will get there.
I do too. I mean, there's not really a lot of talk about kids in the paranormal. I mean, right. I think Chip Coffey did something or something along those lines with psychic kids.
Yep.
But there's not really a lot out there because I know I've been on message boards and it gets really ugly when somebody says about letting their child get involved with paranormal. So it's still, I wish it would be more open, and I hope that it gets that way.
Well, I feel like even our generation now, like, you know, my generation, I think we've gotten to a point now where we're all becoming more open-minded about this, like I was saying before. So with that being said, then of course the people like me, you know, like my children don't really want to investigate with me, and that's fine. You know, they're okay with me doing what I do, but they're just not into it. But if you have these children that are experiencing things and, you know, like I said, their parents are open-minded about that, that's easier for us to be able to work with that.
Yes. Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us what does Arkansas X-Files or X-Files, yes. What does your group have going on? Like, what's the big thing that your group is going to be doing? What's like in the plans, in the works? What's big?
Okay. Well, I mean, like I said, when we first started, it just kind of, it escalated from the first time I started the team. We've already done so much as far as like way beyond what I thought we would in the beginning. I mean, we've been featured in the AY magazine, one of the biggest magazines here in Arkansas. Been on a radio interview in my community spotlight for 30 minutes, B2 Internet Radio. We have done so many different podcasts, but, you know, I say, every time I'm interviewed and this question comes up, my number one most important thing for my team always is our residential cases. We do it pro bono. Like I said, we do not charge, and we primarily focus on that above. I love going to these haunted locations. Like I said, we've been to several here in Arkansas, and all around the surrounding states. But for me to be able, because I guess this is what inspired me to be an investigator, because like I said before, those things that I experienced when I was younger, I didn't feel like I really had anybody. My grandmother did talk to me about it. And we felt like it was more of like a spiritual thing. We didn't necessarily talk about it as like, you know, paranormal wise, but, you know, to be able to explain these things that were happening to me. And so I don't ever want anybody to ever feel afraid in their home, their business. So that's my number one. Our number one priority is to help these residential cases.
Yeah, I like that. That's cool. I'd like to do that too.
Yeah. So
yeah, and that's what I spent the majority of my time doing residential cases and not going to big places because
I want to do both.
Yeah, I just enjoy helping and working with clients, residential and business, and that's what I stuck with for the longest time until I just decided I'm going to take this turn and go into the podcast business. But it's definitely to be able to help people, because there's a lot of people that they don't know what they have. They're not sure what to do or who to go to. So, I mean, we definitely need people like you out there doing residential and business cases.
Yeah, my hometown is in Beebe, Arkansas. I have business cards made. It's got Arkansas X Files. It has all of our information, our contact information. I set these out at different locations around Beebe. So if they're experiencing anything, and you can also find us on Facebook. Okay, Arkansas X Files, and it has all of our contact information. So anybody in Arkansas, surrounding states, if you're experiencing anything paranormal, you don't, you have any sighting, anything whatsoever. Like I said, it doesn't just have to be hauntings. It could be, you maybe thought you saw a Bigfoot or a spaceship or whatever. Contact us and let us help you. And that's the main thing. And whatever we can do in between those residential cases, what comes at us, we'll take it. We'll take that too.
Now, how many people do you have in your paranormal
My
group?
team?
Yeah.
So there's actually 5 of us.
Well, go ahead and give them all a shout out.
Okay, so we've got myself, we've got Ashley, we've got Venetia, we've got Brooke, and we've got Allie.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now,
So-
who does what? Like, do you have something assigned, or does everybody kind of delve into the evidence review?
Everybody kind of does a little bit of everything.
Okay.
Like, as far as Venetia, she's more of my she likes to go about it with her tarot cards. So she does a lot of readings and stuff for us. I have actually a friend. You might as well say she's part of the team. She is my psychic medium on demand, and her name is Sarah. She lives in Georgia.
Oh,
And
nice.
she's done several remote viewings for us, for Arkansas X Files. So I need to give her a little shout out too.
Give her a shout out too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we love some Sarah. So, but yeah, no, everybody, they do their part. It's hard to get everybody together because, like I said, just in general, when I was first trying to join a team, and finding, time for everybody, because people work, they have children, and to get together and stuff like that. So we all will get together when we can. If not, sometimes, it might be just a couple of us that go to a location. Or I never suggest going to a location by yourself. I've done that. Not good. Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that either.
A haunted location. I learned my lesson. I'll just put it that way. Because, but typically if we're not all together, we're going to be, there's going to be 1 or 2 of us, 3 of us, whoever can go. That's how we work. So.
Okay. All right. So where can everybody, do you have a regular website?
Yes. Arkansas X Files, .com.
Okay.
That's it.
And then you, of course, Facebook. Do you have Instagram?
Yeah, then we got Facebook. No, I haven't really set up an Instagram yet. We've got the Arkansas X Files at gmail.com. That's our email. And of course, Facebook is where we primarily post a lot of our stuff. We do live investigations. We'll post those on there. There's a lot of, I have Arkansas X Files, the page, and then I have Arkansas X Files, the group. And I have to say that in the 2 years that I've created Arkansas X Files, so we have already gotten up to 1.5 thousand members in the group, which is amazing.
Yeah,
I feel like
that
in
is
2 years.
amazing. Yeah.
And not only do we have all these people in the group, but they are interactive with each other. They literally talk to each other. They communicate with each other. Sometimes I don't always get time to get on there and post stuff, and they'll still post things and interact with each other. So I love my Arkansas X Files family. They're very supportive of us. I mean, everywhere we've been at my hometown. We had the BB Blackbird Festival, and we set up a tent there, and I got to meet people in my community and introduce them to my team. Like you said, being down here in the South, I was a little sketchy about that, but you know what? They were very responsive to that and very interactive, and I really, really thought that was cool. And I brought my dolls, Mackenzie and Landon. I had them up there, so they were very intrigued with that as well.
Well, that's cool.
Are you from Arkansas?
I am from Arkansas.
Are you? Okay.
Born and raised.
All right. I was just curious because a lot of people's been moving around.
Yeah.
But no, that's awesome. I think that you have a lot of wonderful things coming up from what it sounds like. And
Yeah.
I mean, just going over your Facebook thing here, you have a lot of stuff on here.
Yeah. Thank you.
So, and I see that you do some stuff. What are you doing here? You're doing some talking. So you do some lives, it looks like.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, you're really involved in a lot of things. How about Paracons? You do any of the Paracon stuff?
No, you know what? I haven't been to any of I was going to go to the Dallas Paracon last year, but that one got delayed. So I wasn't able to go to that one. I haven't been to the Paracons, but you know what? That's another thing I was going to say. I love being in this field because I've literally met and doing all the podcasts and stuff of that nature. I used to have my own podcast. I've literally met people from all over the United States and the world.
Yes.
In the field. And there's so many, I have so many friends that, hey, if I'm experiencing something, I don't know something, I can reach out to them, maybe somebody in California. Okay.
Exactly.
And one of my favorites, I don't know if you know him, George Choplin. He's in California, and he was actually featured on Ghost Adventures on one of their episodes. And he's one of my very, very, good friends in the paranormal field. And as far as like inspirational investigate, like that, I look up to him,
Yeah.
He's taught me a lot of really positive things in the field. So yeah. So, but that's all I got.
That's all right.
No, that's all right, because I mean, I'm kind of like the same way. I love doing the podcast because I get to talk to people like you, and I get to figure out your experiences and the places that you've been, and that's what our show is about. It's just about, we want to know your experiences and where you've been and like that. So, but
I'm glad I got to share some of those with you guys, and I'm sure, hopefully, sometime in the future we can get on there and we can get on here and talk again, and I can tell you guys some more fascinating things that we've experienced.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Awesome. We're definitely going to do that. And with that, we are going to let you go, and we thank you so much for being a part of this episode.
And thanks, Remy, too.
Oh, yes.
Thanks, Remy. And no, we thank you. I had a blast, and definitely look forward to doing it again.
All right. Well,
awesome.
Thank you so much. You have a wonderful, wonderful evening.
All right. You too.
All right, bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Hey, everybody. Hey, thanks for joining in with us tonight and listening to this episode. I always, thoroughly enjoy talking to paranormal investigators about their experiences and things that they have going on. So, hop on over. Check out Tyra Clark's paranormal page. It's Arkansas's X-Files. And, give her a like and a follow, and stay tuned with everything that she has going on. She has a lot of good things coming, and I can't wait to see what she has on the horizon. And as far as Paranormally Podcast, hey folks, hop on over to Facebook, give us a like, follow us, have a good time with us, interact with us, whatever you want to do, we're for you. So, and one more thing, I always have to say something about a word of caution about, paranormal investigators, and, you wouldn't just want anybody coming off the streets into your house, so please ask questions. Most of the people we have on are pretty much legit, so there you have it. All right, folks, you take care, and Ronnie and I will see you on the next episode of Paranormally.